this is what we're talking about. Cold laser PEMF coil. By themselves, they don't really look necessarily like much, but these will be extra beneficial tools in your healing arsenal, in your virtual like medicine cabinet, so to speak, with the passage of time. And so therefore, even though it may be or may not be part of your central treatment, it is important to have some understanding of what the cold laser can do and what the PEMF coil can do as well. All right. So this is just an image of various different setups. On the top left, we have the Spooky2 Cold Laser wrist being worn on the wrist, okay, on the inside of the wrist, you know, where the veins and the arteries are. On the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you can see an image of the cold laser wrist being suspended over a glass of water, and that is for imprinting, which is when we take the frequencies from the database and we give a nice long treatment to something which we understand has the capacity to take those frequencies into it. Obviously, if you want to use structured water instead with a touch of colloidal silver, that would be pretty good, as if you were making a radionic therapy, very similar to the ones that Adam speaks of on some of his videos on the Bacana Labs website. Okay, he goes into that in quite a good bit of detail to teach you how to make your own remedies that way. But let's talk first about the cold laser and what this is. Okay, well, we call this low-level laser therapy, or LLLT, which is a bit of a mouthful for an acronym, I know. And its job is to go deep through all the layers of skin with ease. Okay, so it gets quite deep into the skin. The light has been chosen so it can get deep through the skin. When applied to an area with a problem, it can accelerate the body's natural healing process. That's the light and the frequency of the light. That's not the frequencies you're putting through the device, but the light itself has power. Okay, various things the light can be used for. Pains, joint and neurological problems, wounds and burns, okay, is a possibility. If you've done everything else you need to with creams and cooling down the burn with lots of cold water, to speed up the healing, add some light, okay, add low-level laser therapy, okay, or Spooky2 wrist, you know, cold laser wrist for short, or easy to pronounce. And think about this: lymph nodes, tinnitus, bones and tissue regeneration, and more. So that's one device which has quite a lot of versatility to it. And some of it is built into the device, and some of it we then add to the device through the application of frequencies through the Spooky2 database. So when you're treating with cold laser, a treatment time is normally 30 minutes in a day. Okay, you may want to do 2 treatments in a day, but it's about 30 minutes for each treatment. But longer sessions are okay, nothing to worry about. The wrist is designed to be worn over the wrist. It's there for carpal tunnel, meridian complex, but can also treat other areas and other things, just like in the photograph I showed you. Drape it over an object you want to frequency imprint, for instance. I don't know whether any of you people do stuff with clear quartz and you want to charge a quartz crystal with some frequencies. Well, this could be a way of doing it, because the light itself will do something to the, to the energy of the crystal. Cold laser twin, which I haven't brought out of my box to demonstrate to you today, but that's got 2 separate cold laser bulbs, okay, on wires, very simple, and it's there to shine the light specifically onto a point. Maybe you got a boil or a spot, or you got some blemish on your skin, or there's something underneath the skin which needs a bit of application, and it's a small area. All right, then you can pinpoint it like that. But if you got like tinnitus, you can put it into your ears, 1 in each. If you've got problems with mouth ulcers in the mouth, you can put them in your mouth. It comes with an extra cover to keep it hygienic. All right. Do you get sinus problems? Do you get colds and flus? Do you get allergies? What about the spring and the summer? Do you get problems with pollen and hay fever? Then you can place them up, literally up your nose, and run the lights up your nose. You can plug it straight into output 1 of the generator or the boost. I've got mine just plugged straight into the generator with no boost for today. Just a bit of information about the cold laser itself. It's got a maximum frequency of 1 megahertz, which is quite good. So obviously the lower database frequencies will work, but there will be extrapolation if there's higher frequencies being used. Okay, 8 milliwatts maximum power, can operate between 12 milliamps and 23 milliamps. And there you got the wavelength mentioned there of 640 to 650 nanometers. And that's a very specific wavelength for the device. The twin is very slightly different. It's only 7 milliwatts, but it's still roughly the same frequency, okay? For ear, nasal, and even navels, you know, shoved into your navel area if you've got some work that needs done there. And for people who follow the acupuncture meridians, you can use the cold laser twin to pinpoint the acupuncture meridians and bring energy to them, and thus to help to rebalance your energy system. And we've got this database of 60,000 frequency sets, which you can then use for your energy balancing needs, already built into the Spooky2 software. Get the frequency into your body, into the blood, and it'll get into the body. A little bit more information on the cold laser before we move on to the subject of the PEMF coil. LLLT, it's an energy balancer that uses a precise specific wavelength of light to interact with the tissue. We've discussed that, okay? This helps to accelerate the body's natural energy balance. Okay, the light itself has power of its own nature and is therefore useful. So you can reduce pain and swelling, reduce spasms, and increase functionality of whichever system you apply the light to. So these are low power lasers which provide a non-thermal photons of light. Goes through the dermis, epidermis, and subcutaneous, I can't even pronounce that word, the bit below the epidermis. Down into the tissue of the fats under the skin. They're often used for 30 minutes. No adverse effects, okay? It's a light technology. The light itself absorbs by and interacts with light-sensitive elements within the cell. Human beings have a very similar process to photosynthesis in some respects, okay? That's an analogy. Sunlight is absorbed by plants, which is then converted into energy for the plant to grow. But the light energy absorbed by cells allows each cell to get more normal, more balanced, more healthy. Increasing the cell's metabolism results in the reduction of pain, inflammation, and all the other issues. Photons absorbed by the cells through the laser therapy stimulate the mitochondria to accelerate the production of the molecule of energy, the molecule of energy of life, ATP. This biochemical process increases in cells' energy. It's used to transform live cells from a state of illness to a stable, healthy state. So if there's a part of your body, okay, a targeted area of your body which has illness and sickness in it, there's nothing wrong with just adding a bit of cold laser to it. It'll do it some good, right? The light itself is good, and then you add the frequency to it as well, and then you got a bit more good. So the cold laser therapy can work on muscles, ligament, cartilage, nerves, and many more. And we've also said it's used in bone healing as well. All right, cold laser is a good technology. Physicians have been using it for over 40 years on patients seeking effective alternative methods for pain relief. We understand it can be used for more than just pain relief. Over 2,500 clinical studies published since '67. Most of these studies were double-blind and placebo-controlled. Okay, that's the gold standard of science. Okay, by a lot of people's understanding. They clearly demonstrate the effectiveness of cold laser therapy for pain. The bone and joints, issues of 0 to 2010. Reviewed the effectiveness of cold laser therapy for neck pain. The review concluded that low-level laser therapy is a valuable energy balancer for many conditions. So it's a useful thing that provides extra health for yourself. What's so good about it? Non-invasive. You don't have to recover from using cold laser. You can use it by itself or alongside any other help you're getting from your doctor or your complementary health practitioner or your healing way of life you're going through at the moment. No serious side effects. And hard science agrees with it. Okay, backed by multiple medical studies. Hard science agrees with it. So, convenient, affordable, good quality, and frequency power as well. So for some people, they might only want to get themselves like an XM generator and that. Okay, if that's what they want to do. As there are lots of questions about how some of these things operate, it would be cautious and wise to not use cold laser if pregnant or breastfeeding or trying for a baby. Don't use it over the thyroid or on cancerous spots. Do not shine the light directly into the eyes. And there are some safety spectacles which are provided, and I would strongly advise you to use them every single time, okay, if you can. So now we've just told you about cold laser. We've told you about what it is, but now it's a question of how to use it on the software itself. We've all downloaded the Spooky2 software onto our Windows computer, so now how are we going to use it? Well, let's run through the stages. We want to tell the software that we're using cold laser. So firstly, we're going to go to shell empty presets, which is where we go to tell the software what our output device should be or is. Once you've clicked shell empty presets, as you can see from the top of the screen where it says shell empty presets, you're now in that folder. Go down to the bottom and it says Spooky Cold Laser, brackets L, brackets JW. Okay, then you click on that and it'll be highlighted in blue. And then the settings page has been adjusted for you so you don't have to. All right, apart from if you want to tweak a few things. Next, at the top of the screen, you move from the presets tab to the programs tab. And then you can use the search facility at the top of the screen there with a little magnifying glass beside it to do a search for your condition. Double click on them and they end up in the loaded programs box. Okay. Then you just have to go to the control tab, which you can see on the right-hand side of the top of the screen. Then in this order, you click on override generator. Then the box which controls your generator itself. And thirdly, click start. All of the frequencies that you've selected will appear in the box on the right-hand side beside the start button. And then you're running the frequencies. Okay. So that's cold laser. All right. Put simple, understood. We'll go into more about that later, but let's carry on and start talking about the coil, because the coil itself is a very interesting device. It's a very safe and natural way to literally recharge your cells and bring you on the path to better health. I don't believe that Spooky2 would use strong language like the word literally unless they meant it, okay? The use of the words here I think is important. PEMF's job is to target the body at a cellular level. It's the cells themselves which get stimulated. The metabolism of the cells gets stimulated and this brings you closer to good health. That's just what PEMF does. All right, so there's the cold laser, which operates one way. PEMF has some similarities, but it's a different device which can be used to deliver the message of healing, so to speak, to the body in a different way. Numerous conditions in general benefit from PEMF therapy and with no harmful side effects that you get from drugs, medications, some strong herbs, whatever. No harmful side effects. It is a low power device. And there's a reason for that, okay? It's designed to be low power for the things it's used for. And the use of frequency in this way is great for making sure that it's giving you the right specific power for the health of the cells. If the power would be too high, it would have a different functionality because it would operate on the body in a different way. But this is the healing frequency, okay, the healing power level, I should say. Adding extra tailored programs from the Spooky2 database to the coil will again increase its power, because then you've got PEMF and you've got the frequency, which will have its own particular properties. And again, there should be just a few cautions here. All right, there's still lots of questions about how this could affect an unborn child. So maybe don't use it if pregnant or breastfeeding, trying for a child, or people who have organ transplants, because the PEMF is very healing. And if it is very healing, it could lead to a rejection of the organ. This is just my thinking, all right? But there's a reason that we shouldn't use PEMF on those with organ transplants. And definitely not those with pacemakers or hearing aids or other forms of electromechanical implants. Okay, I mean, obviously, if they've got hearing aids, they can just take the hearing aids out during treatment. But if it's like built into your body, like a pacemaker, then it might be worthwhile avoiding adding electrical interference or magnetic interference to the body itself. Okay, use your common sense, use your thinking, but carry on working out how to apply this stuff. This one will be connected, the PEMF coil is connected to the high power of the boost unit. Now, the boost unit, for those of you who can just about see this on the screen, is this little black thing with the terminal sticking out of it on one side and two terminals on the other side. The two terminals on the back, they plug into the output 1 and output 2 of your generator. And this provides you with the other outputs that you need, like colloidal silver and high power port. Yeah, that one there is the high power port. It's that one there where my finger is above right now. Okay, you can see that there's some small printing under each one of these things, and it tells you basically which one is what. So read the printing. Although practically, you know, in practice, you can have more than one PEMF coil running off each generator, but that's not really recommended because there could be some diminished power there. And you're trying to do this for healing, so you've got to take it relatively seriously. So we tend to say one output device per generator, no matter how many forms of outputs there are, either on your boost or on the generator itself. Okay. Now, once you've got the PEMF coil plugged into your generator, you're running your frequencies, you can just place the coil over the known area with the problem. On the coil itself, it actually has on one side the letters B and N, BN. That's important because that's the side which conventionally you would apply to the skin, all right? Not the other side, because like that would be counterproductive. It's the BN side. Now, when you want to try and do imprinting, you can just lay your coil flat on a table with the BN side pointing upwards, and you can take a glass of water and just place it on top and let it run and let it run and let it run and let it run, okay? Now, both in the case of cold laser, as well as in the case of coil, it's usually used more for healing rather than for killing. For killing technology, like pathogen control, we would normally recommend things like Spooky2 contact, plasma, that sort of thing. But when it comes to the coil and to the Spooky2 laser, we think about these as healing things as well as imprinting things. Let's say you just had a vial of essential oil. You could lay your coil flat and place the vial of essential oil in the hole in the middle, which is what it's designed for. Deliberately designed so you can get frequency into essential oils, which you can then use for your topical treatments or your inhaled treatments, or to make the room smell nice, whatever it is. Okay, you can add a bit of frequency to essential oils for that purpose. I do lots of things with incense and essential oils to make my place like smell nice, spiritual purposes, and the rest of that. And it's like great that what we could do is actually add the frequencies from the database to what we're breathing in, what we're putting on our skin. Whether it's water, we can then drink the water. There's lots of ways in which we can use this stuff. Okay, so now let's have a quick look at what it means to do the software setup for the Spooky2 coil, so that you can get programs running through the coil, getting the benefit of the PEMF, as well as the benefit of the frequency from our database. Okay, so as with the cold laser, okay, as with this thing here, start off on the preset tab. Okay, you can double click those double chevrons there to get to the beginning of the presets tab if you want. Okay, then you select shell empty presets like we did before, because that's what we click on when we want to select the output device that we are using, and then after that the functionality of that output device, depending upon what style of Spooky we're doing at the time. Here we've got those images of the coil itself being used. At the bottom left-hand side, you can see me using it to help to reduce my hernia. On the top right-hand side, you can see where it says BN for Bio North, which is the side you have against your skin. Top left again, we have what it would look like to have the coil imprinting some water. But back to the discussion of software setup. Once we've selected shell empty presets, we can then go to Spooky Coil Generator Direct JW. Click on it and it'll be highlighted in blue. When that happens, the settings page for Spooky Coil, in this case, will be adjusted for you. So you don't need to worry about that. As before, you go onto the Programs tab and you type in a search. You double click on the ones you like, and it brings it down to the bottom into the loaded programs box, as you can see. That's called a chain of sets. You got more than one set, it's called a chain of sets. Then go to the Control tab. You firstly click on Override Generator, then you click on your generator icon, and then you click Start. And then you're rocking and rolling and undergoing treatment. So that's connected to the XM generator or generator X directly. Since we're using the alternating currents, either side will work. So yeah, in theory, you shouldn't just worry about the BN side of things, but it's good to stick to a convention and to just carry on doing it. So I would stick with the BN side against your skin, and I would stick with using the BN side upright, pointing upwards when you're doing imprinting. One excellent thing about the PEMF, and I guess about the cold laser as well, is you can have lots of them. Okay, if you had like 4 or 5 different generators, you can have 4 or 5 different PEMF coils on your body, all of them serving different functions for different parts of the body which needs extra work, as well as getting lots of PEMF energy into the parts of the body which requires the work. So then you can do lots more treatments at once, based upon what this healing device, not a killing device, but a healing device is about and capable of. The duration can be really long if you want, or it could be relatively short. Treatments can be safely performed overnight with the coil. If that's what you want, you can place it under your bed sheet, under your pillow. It's perfectly okay to use that, or you can stick it to your skin using microporous tape. Sometimes the use of the PEMF coil with frequency sets can result in a Herx reaction, so there must be some kind of killing going on there, but it's not the principal function. So take care and slowly build up your treatment durations if you do get a Herx. It's okay to take a break for a day, drink more water, flush out some toxins prior to getting back to the fray, back to the battle. When the coil is attached to the generator, you still have to select your frequencies. And here's a few interesting notes about the coil. Spooky2 coil converts the signals from the XM generator to a magnetic field. Any frequency or waveform can be used. You can connect Spooky2 coil directly to the XM generator. Fine. Lower frequencies are the best, even under 30 Hertz, or even those around about 10 Hertz if you think about tissue healing. But if you want to get a frequency in, then you'll be using the regular frequencies from the regular frequency database. All right, I've just changed so that you can see my face better. And I've now lost where I was on the chat. There we go. I have a Generator X Pro. Can I use plasma with that, or do we need to purchase the Central? You have to have Spooky Central to be able to run plasma, because Spooky Central is the plasma unit. It's capable of generating the very high voltages that's just necessary to get the spark going between the plates of the plasma bulb itself. So yes, you have to get Spooky Central. It's a very important tool. It's done amazing things for me. What's the best for treating dental infections? You could easily do the coil. Easily do the coil. Just shove it there where the problem is and hold it there for as long as you need to. But if you got the Cold Laser Twin, you can then put them into your mouth where the problem is and get frequency in the area and provide tissue healing too. So check which one works best for you. Best for sciatica, PEMF. To speed healing of broken bones, apply a comfrey poultice. That's interesting. Comfrey might actually be mentioned in the database. You'll be probably surprised to hear because there's so much there. There's pharmaceuticals, there's herbs, essential oils, all of it delivered through frequency. It's amazing stuff. For having a radiating pain, focus on the right side of the lower back that radiates to the front side like an arrow pierced through. What's best thing to use? Depends what the problem is. Have you been to the doctor about this to work out what's causing it? Okay. I wouldn't know what the cause of that would be. I would be inclined to think that for local healing, PEMF is a good choice. All right, PEMF is a good choice, but you might even want to think about going to the MirrorMate website and buying the PEMF Big Magic and covering larger areas of the body to try and get more cellular healing in place there. Okay, because it sounds like you've got like a big body issue and a small device isn't designed to operate over the whole body, if you get my drift. Any recommendations for hair loss? There must be some alopecia programs in the database. Let me just have a quick look and see what's there for you. I mean, no matter what your problem is, do lots of creative searches in the programs fields. Yeah, alopecia, cavities for hair loss, loads of hair loss programs, female pattern, male pattern, telogen, something or other, general baldness, as well as 3 molecular weight frequencies. Yes, there is definitely stuff in the Spooky2 database which will relate to hair loss. Does the PEMF device get hot during use? Not so you'd notice. It's not serious. When I ran my first 11-day training preset, I saw the red lights on the remote blinking at certain frequencies. Some are blinking slowly, some are very rapid. Is there significance with these frequencies that cause the red light to blink? Okay, you got 2 red lights on your remote and they blink. Okay, that's because that is the frequency going through. Now, if the red lights on the remotes are very, very dim and it looks constant, that means it's too fast for the lights to shine. If you're using really, 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 really high frequencies, you might not see any light at all on the remotes. Okay, don't worry about that. You got 2 of them for the current going one way, current going the other way. That's why we got the 2 lights to indicate the polarity. Can you use the PEMF coil around your eyes? PEMF should be okay, I think. But I mean, I'm planning on using PEMF for brainwave entrainment and having it under my pillow so I can sleep better at night in a not too distant future. So yes, I wouldn't worry about using it for the for on the head because also plasma is used around the head as well. If you're running more than 1 coil for the back or 1 issue, how do you connect them both? Generator for each. 1 generator for each output device running each thing, to the most part, would be the way you do things. Will the same frequencies for humans work on pets? Well, think it through. If the pet has got one particular infection, which is one particular bacteria, which a human gets as well, then yes, it depends upon what the illness is. I mean, do try and treat your pets as if it was a human using human frequencies, if you can. It might even be worthwhile being creative and trying to find ways of doing biofeedback on your pet and working out whether Generator X Pro can actually tell you what's really going wrong there. But that will be sample digitizer for the saliva, blood, and that sort of thing. Doing it on contact, if your pet is very fluffy, could be very challenging indeed. And of course, if your pet wants to move around and go outside and that sort of stuff, there's lots more challenges. But I think there is a Facebook group dedicated to Spooky2 for pets. And they may be able to give you more specific targeted pet-based advice. Would you treat prolapse with a coil? I would probably do it in order to try and provide some extra healing for the area. Yes, I would try, but I would also not regard that as being a primary treatment. All right, when you've got a more serious condition or a more debilitating condition or a more infected condition, you need more tools to do more work. What did I say about the prostate pack? Yeah, it's on the Miramate website, and it's a device which basically fits over the area, has straps so you can put it on, and is connected to a box so you can change a few things. And it's actually quite a good device. Seriously, experience shows that there's lots of healing. I mean, I've got a fair few things going on with the prostate myself. Yeah, miramate.com, I think it is. Using PMF. Can I imprint a magnet with Generator RX Pro? That's not come up in conversation as of yet. We normally imprint non-magnetic things, but magnets can remove imprinting from other things. So why would you want to imprint a magnet? It would be better to imprint water, then drink the water, then go and use your magnets. My husband has prostate cancer. Are you referring to Miramate LED prostate pack? Yes, that helps with the reproductive function and also seems to help to reduce it and reduce inflammation in the area. And that's good. No, it's not a device you use during, well, it's a device you can use during the day. You don't wear it during the day. You use it for like 35 minutes, then you stop and you do one 35-minute session each day. All right, this is not something you wear permanently on your body. What's best for treating dental infections to avoid recommended root canal? I'd go in with the, I would go in with the cold laser and see what that does for the problem. If you know what the infection is, then you might be able to find the pathogen in the database. That would be useful. And I would recommend you use the right frequencies for your pathogen to the best of your ability, as well as any other healing programs you can, because these frequency sets seem to do what they say on the tin by my experimentation. All right, so they're good. If there is an infection, you might want to consider things like grade scanning and refined program scan using Generator X to try and get it more accurate. Yeah, Miramate, M-I-R-A-M-A-T-E. Miramate is a website which is basically owned and run by Spooky2, because you've got Spooky2, you've got Dewey, H-E-A-W-E-A, and you've got Miramate. Okay, Dewey is for the Dewey device, health wearables. That's why it's called Dewey.com, H-E-A-W-E-A. All right, of course, Spooky2 you already know about. And then there's Miramate, and the idea of Miramate is to have some devices which just do what's it said on the tin and doesn't require as much technological knowledge and playing around with software as Spooky2 itself does. All right, so these are simple, like one function, good devices. Elizabeth, my dog, had cancer on the membrane around the heart. 1 month of Central eliminated symptoms. Lots of people run Central for 2 to 3 months. 1 month of Central eliminated the cancer around the heart of the dog. That is like, that's the kind of story which makes me feel like, yeah. So what frequency can do, man, you know what I mean? It's just awesome stuff. Oh, thank you, Rhonda. When you say 1 generator per output device, stress that allow 2 devices for Generator X Pro. Yeah, Generator X Pro is not 1 generator. Generator X Pro is 2 generators in 1 box side by side, with its extra biofeedback functionality and the ability to run offline and the other cool stuff which Generator X is awesome for. So yes, you can run 2 devices off Generator X, because Generator X is not just 1 generator. You can use 1 generator for one thing, 1 generator for another. People often do killing with one and healing with the other. There's ways in which you can configure it for your own benefits, taking into account what your body is telling you. How long do the imprinted stickers holographic things last? Depends on how you've imprinted them. If you've left your sticker running in your remote for about 3 days, I'm pretty sure it'd have quite a good signal in it. And then you can shove it on the inside of your belt buckle or something to make sure you get, information into your body. But don't let it be exposed to a magnetic field, because that will knock out the imprinting. Can a person without illnesses sleep on the big mirror mates? Yeah, easily. It doesn't hurt you, all right? You can't really get injured as a result of using mirror mates products. It's not going to make your life a terrible thing. Hello, William D'Souza. Got an underarm lymph node that feels hard. What device would be better? Right, lymphatic drainage is a difficult thing, but you must use frequencies for lymphatic drainage in order to try and get that thing going. I mean, the lights will be very healing and do a lot of tissue healing, but it feels to me as though there's something else going wrong, which could be creating the lymph node problem. But you might be able to survive with remotes, and you might be able to survive with the coil. As well as a bit of cold laser, because when you've got a problem like that, you've got to monitor how it feels and how it reacts to different treatments. Right, now when it comes to prostate pack, I'm using it for function. I'm using it for the healing and the inflammation and the enlargements. I'm not using it for a cancer problem. If cancer has been dealt with and it's gone and you just need to heal after cancer, then that's another issue. But you've got to make sure the cancer will be gone, one would assume. Good story from Marcy here. Enlarged prostate, even and odd, is working great for my friend. Contacts every night. No longer needs surgery. All right. Strong words there. No longer needs surgery. This is what we're involved with, guys. Okay. Gen X and Gen X Pro, the difference between the two of them. Generator X came out before there was a chip crisis. Then John decided to update the power of it, so it's much more, even more precise, even smaller, like numbers after the decimal point it can go down to. It's basically a much bigger boy in the Rife game. Okay, it's just got this extra layer of John Whiteness. All right. Can we use Generator X for 2 persons? Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you? And what I mean, you got 2 generators there, because Generator X is 2 generators, so you can treat 2 people using a boost on each one of the generators and treat your stuff. Can you use Generator X Pro with a Spooky Essential? No, you can use XMs. You can definitely use an XM generator with the Spooky Essential. You've just got more power to use your more accurate, more precise biofeedbacks, which are developed much more quickly and can be targeted. which is what Generator X is really, really good at. And if you're going to get like the big killer, you might, you know, Spooky Central is like it's good at what it does. You might as well get a good generator to go with it so that you can get real precise with the results of your biofeedback and kick the stuff out of your body, okay? Have you had more success with one or two databases over the others? There's CAFL, ETDFL, kilohertz, and RUS being mentioned. Depends on how you use it. I mean, if you just want to use an existing database program, then just you have to see what fits. If you've got Generator X Pro and you're going to use grade scanning and you're going to use refined programs, then you'll use any damn database which is out there, whether it's consolidated annotated frequency list or Rife or ETDFL or kilohertz or anything. And you'll have as many of them as you can. So you'll try and get it to try and work out which numbers is right for you out of, let's say, 30 different frequency sets, and you want the top 20, you do a grade scan. It's not specifically a question of which set it comes from. I personally have a little more faith in CAFL if I'm going to just treat with that and I'm not going to bother with scanning. And just, oh, I can't think it through, I can't cope, I can't panic, I just try a CAFL one. But that's probably more to do with the fact that, you know, I just got some history with that, rather than whether it's specifically superior or inferior to any of the other ones which is out there. All right, these are useful things which are being, these numbers are being gained by different researchers in different ways. Yeah, I guess your imprinted stickers could wear out with the passage of time, because that's just the way things are. Clarification from my dog yesterday, the sonogram revealed no liquid discharge caused by cancer on the membrane. I'm tuning plasma for a total of 2 months, also monitoring with biofeedback. If you are due diligence, you know, great things can happen. LaDonna says, if I'm running cancer on plasma, can I add a non-cancerous program to run under the cancer protocol? Number one, stick to the cancer protocol perfectly. Number two, when you're not physically receiving a treatment of that type, then you can have other things added along. And get more generators, because there may come a time when you just need to do more work. All right, I mean, I've got a fair handful of these things lying around. Okay, I've got one downstairs for when I'm watching TV. I've got one upstairs for when I'm working. I've got one computer with 4 generators running on it at the moment. I've got another computer with a Generator X running on it. Seriously, you know, it's sometimes a good thing to have more. So I have 5 cats who are infected with many pathogens which are now gone, except for nematodes in the skin. There are specific colonies and the cats can't tolerate the squeal from the hydrophone. Any suggestions on how to zap these critters? As far as treatment is concerned, if all your cats get on well with each other and can stay in the same place, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a plasma running in the place where they all sleep for a start, because you want to try and treat all of them. You've got 5 whole cats, okay? But they must at some point in the day curl up somewhere, and that will be the place to treat them with plasma. As far as the discovery of what the thing is, if you've got one which has come out of the skin, then you can sample digitizer it. Then you can get the frequencies for it. Then you can treat that with plasma. If you haven't got any access to any of the dead nematodes, namely the worms, then try and do biofeedback on whichever of your cats is most likely to accept biofeedback, with the pads on the paws maybe, okay? And just see whether you can do a very fast biofeedback scan on him using Generator X. And maybe that would be enough to provide the right numbers to treat all the rest of them. Okay, you've got an intellectual challenge here, just a question of choosing like which tools you can use to deliver best and which tools you can use to research best to get the right frequencies that you need to solve the problem. How would one go about getting viruses and parasites out of the body? Morgellons and Lyme protocol is very good for that. Okay, also doing, if you've got generator X, one thing which I do is get a total of 60 frequencies together and run that on a chain on plasma overnight. So I get 2 or 3 treatments from that. If I'm in bed for 9 hours, I get 3 treatments. And that has noticeably killed things off inside the body. Will all of the Q&A be included in the YouTube recording? Possibly. Did you say plasma was good for getting rid of candida? Yes, both plasma and contacts will affect candida very nicely. Very nicely. A lot of good work can just be done with contact, but to try and get in deeper to the areas where contact can't reach, you then have to go plasma. And plasma is the way, the truth, and the light of killing things. Robert says, I used scalar and got a good sample of the pathogens. Excellent. Can kids aged 3 and up use cold laser and PEMF for parasites? Oh, God. I'm concerned about making a suggestion for kids age 3, because we're not supposed to be rifing children under the age 7 because it takes a certain number of years for their immune system to get good. It might be better if you can get them still enough to use zapping. Yeah, I think zapping is probably a better way for attempting to remove parasites from little children. If you sample a pathogen, what frequency to get rid of it? Well, if you sample the pathogen, what you're doing is you're digitizing it. You're getting the numbers for that pathogen. So you just run that frequency set the way you would run any other killing frequency set. Using saliva on sample digitizer for biofeedback for animals. Yes, you can do that. Yeah. If you have a dead parasitic worm, you can use sample digitizer to scan it to eliminate them when you treat, or to kill or reduce their numbers of populations when you treat. And you could carry on rescanning with the passage of time and trying to do more work. Rhonda says, I've swapped saliva from the inside of the mouth and wiped back end of my cat. What? To run the sample digitizer. Not happy, but it worked. Okay, well, I'm glad you managed to find a way of getting samples from your cats. But I wouldn't want to. No, never mind. Cats are difficult. They are. They're beautiful creatures, very loving, but very difficult. Robin and I have a cat, and I put urine in the sample digitizer and run the hunt and kill with a claw clipping in a second generator on the generator X. Excellent. Okay, for viruses and parasites, look into the Morgellons and Lyme protocol. Another thing you can try and do is biofeedback to get 60 frequencies. Okay, and then run that chain on a loop. How do you get 60 frequencies from the scan? Okay, I will show you now some of the things you can do on your screen to get 60 frequencies. Okay, and it's going to be quite simple, actually. It's quite good. Now let me just go back onto my Zoom. From my Zoom, I can then go to share screen. I can then select that screen, and now you're looking at my Spooky2. You can all see that. So let's say biofeedback, firstly. You can see on the top of the screen there, biofeedback. Click Generator X. Fast biofeedback scan. Now, I can't reach the control tab because my because the zoom bar is in front of it. Right, then I can hopefully get there. Can I do that now? No, I can't. Right, okay, then back to control. And you'll see, and I haven't got the generator X plugged in at the moment, as you can see, because in the biofeedback scan section at the bottom of the screen, bottom middle of the screen, that box there saying biofeedback scan. If you go down on its left-hand side, there's a grayed out bit saying max hits to find. Okay, can you see where my cursor is? Okay, type in, delete that, type in 60. And then you can click scan. Okay, max hits to find. That's what you need to adjust. What device to use for pulmonary fibrosis? Oh God. Between PEMF and cold laser, a little of that on targeted areas might be of assistance, but to do it properly, go plasma. At the very least, go contact. But seriously, if you can go plasma on that, that is going to really help. Should I drink hydrogen water? I don't know anything about hydrogen. You don't mean hydrogen water, do you? You mean alkaline water. Alkaline water will lower your stomach's acidity, which will therefore open you up to infection. You use alkaline water topically on your skin, and you use acid water to wash your fruit and vegetables. I would not drink alkaline water if I was you, in my humble opinion. Some people say PMF needs to be like 500 Tesla. No. Spooky2 PEMF is deliberately low power for the purposes of providing you with precisely the right quantity of power that's required for the purposes of tissue healing and delivery of frequency. We're not talking about a Bob Beck magnetic pulsar here. Okay, now what's in there? Now that was only the chat. Now we got the Q&A section to go through. Let's see if there's anything there. Have you ever used PMF to heal diabetes? No, I personally have not. If you've got a whole body problem, you need to use probably a whole body device such as the PMF mat from Miramate, which will be the large area one, which will probably help an awful lot more when it comes to tissue healing. All right, but there's also diabetes programs within the Spooky2 database. So going contacts and plasma on that would probably be a very good thing. Right, I think a lot of the questions we've got in the question and answer section are actually have also been answered in the chat section now, because that appears to be very similar to what we've already seen. Okay, so I think we've actually got all of your questions answered to the best of my limited knowledge and understanding and ability so far. Okay, I'm going to very quickly remind you through screen sharing. Where's the button? There we go. And I think with that, we've pretty much done everything. I'm going to bring this presentation to a close now. So wishing you all the best of luck for your own healing paths and all the methods that you do. Okay, one question here. Am I available for a private consultation? Find me on Facebook under the name Nick Dewey, or there'll be some of my stuff on the Spooky2 Rife for Life forum. And send me a message there, and maybe I can help you. Maybe, you know, we can do a mentoring session. If you want to do a mentoring session with me, I would be happy to get into discussion with you about what that entails and what we can do to try and help bring you up to scratch. All right, that is something that I do. I am a a certified Spooky2 trainer. Okay, then you now understand stuff, so that's pretty awesome too. Look after yourselves. Bye for now.